Greetings from Bloomington. This is Susan Reel, Executive Director of the East Central Illinois Area Agency on Aging, serving Champaign, Clark, Coles, Cumberland, DeWitt, Douglas, Edgar, Ford, Iroquois, Livingston, McLean, Macon, Moultrie, Piatt, Shelby, and Vermilion counties. We have created, thanks to Lauren Lane, Executive Services, an outstanding presentation entitled Fiscal Year 2021, A Year in Review. We have asked our service providers and staff members to submit photos, videos, and success stories to demonstrate the amazing work carried out during the year. Another challenging year due to the pandemic. You will also hear from Doug Harlan, Chairperson of the ECIAAA Corporate Board. On behalf of the Corporate Board, Advisory Council, and staff, I want to say thank you to our Aging Network for a job well done. Now enjoy Fiscal Year 2021, A Year in Review.
As we come to the end of our 2020 and 2021 program year, the COVID-19 pandemic is still plaguing us. Although we have a vaccine, the new variants are causing a resurgence in the number of cases. Once again, our older adult population continues to face unprecedented adversity. Fortunately, many of our older adults have been able to be vaccinated and are in a much more protected state than this time last year. Many are vaccinated as a direct result of the efforts of the East Central Illinois Area Agency on Aging. The East Central Illinois Area Agency on Aging staff has turned in another phenomenal advocacy effort this year to support older adults during the pandemic. These efforts have resulted in increased funding at both the federal and state level. Some notable funding received during these efforts are $432,057 in funding from the Consolidated Appropriations Act, $84,360 from the Illinois COVID-19 Vaccine Program, and $53,957 from the Illinois COVID-19 Transportation Program Outreach. COVID-19 continues to challenge our traditional delivery systems for all of our older adult programs. However, our East Central Illinois Area Agency on Aging staff continues to develop innovative and adaptive changes to those systems to ensure continuity of support to our older adults. While meeting the challenges of the COVID-19 pandemic continue to top the East Central Illinois Area Agency on Aging staff's top priority list, they also work with our service providers to address the changing needs of our older adults. In FY 2020, the East Central Illinois Area Agency on Aging's total clients increased by 4%. Other significant changes include home delivered meal clients increasing by 71%, with actual home delivered meals increasing by 50%. Coordinated points of entry, senior information services units of service increased by 12%. Caregivers served increased by 18%. And grandparents and relatives raising grandchildren or children increased by 25%. In addition to these amazing statistical increases in our traditional programs, several new programs were offered this past year. Bingo Size is a new evidence-based healthy aging program offered in Macon, McLean, and Clark counties. It marries bingo with light exercise, focusing on leg strength, balance, and coordination to prevent falls. Macon County launched a new Reducing Social Isolation project that includes friendly visiting, telephone reassurance, and technology purchase and support to help reduce social isolation among older adults. Finally, all East Central Illinois Area Agency on Aging funded caregiver advisory programs were granted licenses and received training on T-Care. T-Care is a tailored caregiver assessment and referral program which supports family members who are providing care to adults with chronic or acute health conditions. 2020 and 2021 has been a year once again full of unprecedented challenges. However, our East Central Illinois Area Agency on Aging staff continues to address those challenges and develop processes whereby our service providers can continue to meet the needs of older adults in our area. I am certain that the East Central Illinois Area Agency on Aging staff are more than prepared to continue their efforts to provide unwavering support to the older adults in their charge. I would like to thank the members of the East Central Illinois Area Agency on Aging's corporate board for their continued engagement and support throughout the past year. Please be safe and stay well.
Welcome to the Life Center of Cumberland County and also in Clark County. Our clients' average adjusted gross income was less than $20,000, and we saved each person at least $200 in prep fees. Bagged ice raised over $6,500 this year. The pallet project raised over $900. All at no cost to the Life Center. Both clients and units have increased each year during the COVID pandemic. $28,254 meals came out of a piecemeal kitchen at Life Center this year. The canoe race raised $8,522. The golf outing raised $1,960 this year. Our permit saved over $1,700 over regular first-class mail during 21. Thanks to our resourceful and energetic board of directors. Join us anytime at the Life Center.
Welcome to Family Service Senior Resource Center of Douglas County. I'm Becky. I'm the caseworker. This is Connie, my assistant. We try to go the extra mile and give the extra minute to all our clients, so whenever they have a need or need assistance with anything, they feel comfortable to come in here and speak to us about it. We've got a lot of success stories that we're very proud of. We have bought groceries for quite a few people that are just having a tough time and can't quite make it. I've got financial assistance for a client that had a stroke a couple of years ago, and he was wheelchair bound, and he worked through physical therapy, got himself out of the wheelchair, and then when we had all this social isolation, he didn't get out, and so he started to fail. And started to get to weaker. He called our office, and I talked to his other caseworker. I was able to get him financial assistance so he could go back to ATI and pay his deductibles. That worked, and then he got COVID, and after he got COVID, he needed to go back for physical therapy, and again, needed financial assistance. We was able to get that for him, and he's doing really well now. He gets out a little bit, not a lot, but he's very grateful for all that we have done for him. I had another client call me that was 81. She was needing eye surgery, but her surgeon practiced in Indiana, and she didn't have a way over there, and her family couldn't take her because it was so far away. Her caseworker couldn't go out of the state. So I looked around, couldn't really come up with anything, and I called her back and I said, hey, would you give me permission to call your doctor and see if there's anything any closer? So she said, sure, that's great. So I called her doctor. He was able to get her to a surgeon in Springfield, Illinois, where her family was able to take her. It just worked out great. She was very, very thrilled on that. I also am working with a client now that's 60 years old that is about ready was going to lose her home to delinquent taxes. So we worked, and I went to the bank with her. I went to loan places and everything. It just didn't seem to go. So we finally talked to one place, and they suggested, maybe we do bankruptcy, Chapter 13, give her some extra years to pay off that debt. And so this week we tie up all the ends on that. We seem to have a lot of people that need insure. We buy that for our clients. Depends. It's just everybody has different needs, so we try to help and assist in anything we can. I had another client that was in her 90s, and she called me and she said, hey, I got to have a colostomy. And at the time, she wasn't a client of mine, but she had heard about us. Not a colostomy. She had to have a colonoscopy in Decatur, and she said, I need a ride. And she didn't have a caregiver, so I suggested, hey, why don't you see about a caregiver? I go, that would be wonderful. She could take you places. She could help you with your cleaning. She could go get your groceries. And no, she didn't want that. So she went and had her colonoscopy, and a person from her church took her, and she called me back. She goes, that's not going to happen again. I'm not going to ride with him. And I said, well, let's try and get you a caregiver. No. Then about a week later, she called back. She goes, I've thought about it. I think I want a caregiver. And I said, okay. So we worked with Care Horizons. We got her a caregiver. She called me back, and she was just beyond thrilled. She goes, oh my gosh. She takes me everywhere. She said, if I have doctor's appointments, she's there for me. She said she does my grocery shopping. She helps me with meals. She just does everything. She said, I really like this. And she was very, very grateful that we could assist her in that. We've been going out in our community. We put posters up. We try to do events and tell everyone about what we offer. And we have got a lot of new clients in the last couple of months. And we have also got some grants and had grant money to spend. And with one of the things that we were doing for our clients, a thing came up where they could get free internet. And, well, they could get an iPad or a tablet. And if they didn't have internet, they could get that too. So we helped 20 plus clients do that. They were all thrilled to death because a lot of them, that was the only way that they were going to get them. And so they was just ecstatic to think that, they could go on the web and they could watch all their old Westerns and just anything, load up games. And so that really helped with social isolation. And then with some of our grant money, we were able to purchase a transmitter to do parking lot bingo with, or drive-in movies. So we're trying to plan that now. We haven't yet, but we think that'll be really cool. They can sit in their car, we can call out the number, they can honk. It'll really help with social isolation. And so we're trying our best to do that. Connie has worked very hard to work on helping our clients with the vaccine. She's going to tell you a little bit about that.
We have worked closely with our clients, assisting them setting up vaccine appointments, also providing transportation when needed. We have tracked our clients, documenting reasons for those who chose not to be vaccinated. We have put out posters, spoke at events, and also worked with FEMA Peace Corps volunteers who also translated to our Spanish-speaking community.
Again, we just want everyone to know that we really try to go the extra mile and give the extra minute for all our clients so that they never hesitate when they have a need, that they feel they can come in and talk to us and see what we can assist them with. And we just want to thank you for all your help. Thank you so much.
COVID has created challenges that caregivers had never dreamed of before. In one case, the caregivers are healthcare providers who live an hour away from their elderly father. The distance had always created difficulty for daily care, but COVID added more concerns. They did not feel it was safe to see him since they were risking COVID exposure daily on the job. They reached out to Piecemeal to see if they could help. Delivery of daily hot meals, in conjunction with frozen and shelf-stable meals, provided the quality nutrition he needed, without risk of exposure to COVID from his family. While all family members, including the client, are now vaccinated, the daily check-in that comes with meals has proved invaluable to the caregiver's peace of mind. The client reports that he not only loves the meals, but loves his delivery drivers and looks forward to the meal delivery time each day. In another situation, illness within the family made caregiving impossible. Not only did the client contract COVID, the family members who he relies on to provide groceries did as well. A friend from out of state was familiar with senior nutrition programs and looked to find the ones that served his community, Piecemeal. We received the referral on a Friday, the day he was eating his last frozen meal. We were able to make an emergency delivery of 1 hot meal, 2 frozen meals for the weekend, and a box of shelf-stable meals. The next week, we began regular daily delivery, with extra meals for weekends. While he will not be a long-term client, Piecemeal has seen him and his caregivers through a difficult period. We are happy to see that he is healing and beginning to resume his normal activities. The caregiver moved her mother into her home approximately 2 years ago following the death of her mother's spouse. The care receiver has dementia and has a history of falls. The caregiver's daughter and spouse live in the home and assist with supervision. The caregiver's brother lives 6 hours away and is only able to come every couple of months to take the care receiver for a day or two. In addition to providing care for her mother, the caregiver owns and runs a nursery at her home. The caregiver had contacted a private home care agency regarding assistance and learned about caregiver support services. When assessed, the caregiver indicated she was feeling very overwhelmed and unsure whether her mother could remain in the home. The care receiver was referred for CCP services but wasn't eligible. Janelle discussed support groups, respite, and private pay adult care. Janelle coordinated adult services with Lincolnshire Memory Cafe and authorized Caregiver Gap and Flexible Gap to cover some of the cost. The caregiver was satisfied with the service and utilized additional adult daycare on a private pay basis. The caregiver joined the local YMCA and indicated she was enjoying having some time for herself. The caregiver also joined in the virtual caregiver support group. Ultimately, her mother experienced a condition change in which she was no longer able to transfer, and caregiver made the difficult decision to place her in a memory care unit because the care had become too much. However, the caregiver was appreciative of the assistance that was provided. One of the greatest successes of the planning department during fiscal year 2021 was the development and implementation of the grants management component within ACORN. John Thornburg, grants management program analyst, led the development with White Oak Consulting. Service providers were able to submit their fiscal year 2022 request for proposal documents within the system. Orshi Fixer and Jennifer Roberts, both service compliance coordinators, were able to score applications and generate follow-up out of the system. We are looking forward to continued development in ACORN and the efficiencies it is allowed at all levels. On a visit, a resident approached me and told me he'd like to have a bowl of fruit. I made the request to the administrator, who told me that he is on a pureed diet, per doctor's orders. When speaking with the resident, he described the puree food he receives as disgusting. We had conversations about food being a matter of quality of life for him. He expressed understanding of the risks he was taking by going against doctor's orders and decided it was worth it to him. The facility's attorney created a waiver of liability for the resident to sign, and we had a meeting. The resident decided to sign. He has since been able to request anything he would like to eat, and staff supervise him in case of emergency. This improvement in his quality of life has made him visibly happy.